Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to be going over a potential October snowstorm which is going to be impacting parts of the northern parts of New England and also the interior northeast over the next few days and weeks. We're going to be going over a couple of the models and what they're showing for this storm and overall what type of pattern we're going to be in for at least the first half of October and whether that'll translate into a cold rest of October and maybe even a colder winter. So let's start off here with your current National Weather Service page. We have red flag warnings scattered throughout parts of the northern plains as well as parts of the Rockies and also parts of California. We also have some air quality alerts in effect for parts of California and also for parts of Colorado and Wyoming. Other than that, we have some dense fog advisories scattered throughout parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota, as well as Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma, and another portion there in Texas. And we also have some wind advisories just scattered throughout parts of the northern plains and also the northern Rockies. So let's get right into it here. Let's start off with the GFS model, which is the thumbnail of this video. That is this is the 0Z model run. So this is the overnight model run of this GFS model. Usually, if you look at the 0Z or the 12Z model runs, they tend to be a little bit more consistent and they perform better on average just because they're using new data that they've just gotten and inputting that into the model. The 18Z and 6Z models, the morning and the afternoon model runs, end up just using the same data but interpreting it in a different way. So that's why I like to use the 0Z and the 12Z model runs. Now, to start off, we have a cold upper trough, and I'm just going to give you what's going on in the upper atmosphere by this point. We have a cold upper trough that's digging down into the northeastern and Great Lakes states, and that is pushing in some cold air. This would be by 2 a.m., and we're going about 10 days out here, but just to give you an example of what could happen, here would be by Tuesday, October 6th. Now, we see the heavy precipitation over parts of upstate New York and Pennsylvania, and that'll be moving to the north and east, and eventually some of this this very rapid precipitation is gonna end up turning over to snow as we get into the overnight hours. So this would be by 2 a.m. and then here would be right around, I believe this would be right around 8 a.m. on Tuesday, October 6th. Now this is just a hypothetical scenario from the GFS model, and of course I want more model data to back this up, but I am going to show you a couple more models that give at least some sort of the same outcome with this storm or potential storms in the future. Now we see heavy precipitation and especially heavy snowfall over parts of upstate New York, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and northern Maine, and also for parts of Quebec there in Canada. So we see this low pressure that's centered over western Massachusetts, and we see all that precipitation practically in a line angled from southwest to northeast that's moving across parts of the northeast. Now let's just move this forward a couple more frames. By the afternoon hours, the snow is still lingering, but it's moving out, and this is again just from one model, and we'll show you a couple other models that have something similar. And then here would be by October 7th, early in the morning, and it's practically all said and done with. Now, here's the snowfall footprint from this storm, and we are looking at some snowfall amounts that are over 6 inches in those pinks there. So we're looking at potentially for parts of the mountainous areas in upstate New York, as well as for parts of northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine there. Potentially some areas getting over 6 inches of snowfall if this model run is to be correct. Now, I don't think you're going to see 6 inches of snowfall accumulating. Maybe if this were to happen, maybe closer to 3 inches of snowfall in the highest areas, just because of the atmosphere. It's not going to be cold enough for this snow to really accumulate, and some of it will actually turn over to rain as it's falling down. Now, just to show you, the atmosphere is going to be actually rather cold according to this model run and scenario. We're seeing temperatures in this blue that is below 32 degrees, and you see where most of the snow is falling, it's below 20 degrees, or actually below 30 degrees, so it's in the 20s for some of these regions if this were to be correct. And that 32 degree line, or that freezing line, goes all the way through upstate New York, Pennsylvania, Maryland, and down through West Virginia, and then moves up through much of New England as well. So we do have a rather cold environment in place. This would be for the early morning time on October 7th. Now, Here is the European ensemble model, and we're going to start looking at a couple of model members from this, and I'm going to show you the most prevalent ones and the ones that really stood out to me. Now, here would be ensemble member 8. There is a collection of about 50 models in this one model, so there is a collection of 50 members, 50 different model runs, and they average that out. So we're going to take a look at a couple individual ones. Here would be ensemble member 8. We do see some snowfall for parts of the Great Lakes. Now, none of this is going to be set in stone, but it's just to give you the overall pattern that we're going to be in, and it's going to be rather snowy, especially for the early half of October, and then once you get into later October, snow will definitely be more prevalent. Now, here would be this would be the ensemble number 9, and this is going through only through October 10th, so this is not going through all of October, just October 10th, so 15 days out, and we're looking at some snowfall there for the northern Great Lakes. Let's go to another one, ensemble number 15, and we see more snowfall for the Great Lakes there. Here would be ensemble member 22, and we have a similar snow event for parts of the northern New England regions and the interior northeast, and this is again only by October 10th. Here would be ensemble member 34. This one was really interesting, where this model member wants to bring some snowfall to the northern tier of the United States. Here would be ensemble member 37, a similar event, the interior northeast with a little bit of snowfall. Here would be this would be October 10th on ensemble member 42. This one really stood out to me just because of how much snowfall it's indicating for the southern Rockies. Maybe something like what we saw in early September with parts of Colorado, Wyoming, and New Mexico. Here would be ensemble member 47. This is the last one we're going to look at, and we do see quite a bit of snowfall there for parts of the northern Great Lakes. Now, generally, none of this is set in stone, and none of these individual models look to be correct, but it's just that the collection of all of these models, this is about 10 or 15 of the models out of the 50 that are showing prevalent snowfall over about an inch or two in some areas that receive snowfall typically in late October. But if we see this really start to get going, if we see maybe 20, 30 of these models start to give some snowfall to these regions, then we can get a lot more confident that we will see a at least snowy start to October. Now, here is the GFS ensemble members, and this is just showing you the Midwest view of all those, and showing you on the screen. These are all the 30 members of the GEFS. So we're looking at how much snowfall they are putting out, and you see a couple of these do show quite a bit of snowfall, and these are all individual models, and we're looking at some models. I would say probably about 5 out of the 30 or so are indicating some sort of significant snowfall to areas in lower elevations. Now, here would be the GFS ensemble models for the Great Lakes view, and we're looking at similar things where over Wisconsin and Michigan, we're looking at quite a bit of snowfall potential with some of these model runs. And then here would be for the Northeast view, and we do see a couple of these models indicate what we were seeing with the Northeast snow event. We are looking at a couple of these models indicating some snowfall for parts of northern New England, and there is quite a few of them. I would say probably again around 20 of the or about 10 of the GFS ensemble members indicating some snowfall at least for parts of northern New England and the interior northeast. Let's move on here to the European ensemble model, and let's look at why this is happening. We're going to start looking at the 2-meter temperature anomalies for for the United States, and we're going to look at where the cold air is going to originate from. The cold air is going to start out over parts of the northwest, and also it's going to come out from parts of the Arctic. So further up, you can't see it on the screen right now, but further up in Canada, further to the north, you do have some cold air that both are going to converge over the eastern United States and bring quite a bit of cold air that'll set the precedent for some potential snowfall. Now, let's start off here. This will be by Sunday morning. It would be by Monday morning, and that cold air is really starting to move into parts of the central United States and the Rockies. Here would be by Tuesday morning, and over parts of the central United States, still seeing some rather cold conditions. This is a ensemble member, so a combination of about 50 models averaged out, and this is what they're showing. Here is by Wednesday morning, and we're looking at still the south central in some cold air, and generally the rest of the central United States, but the East Coast still hanging on to some of that warmer warmer than normal conditions. But here would be by Thursday, October 1st, and we're looking at still that cold air prevalent, but it's pushed a lot further to the east. Not only the northeast is in that warm air, but for the rest of the eastern United States and the central United States, you're now in that cold air. Here would be by October 2nd, and we're looking at that cold air still intensifying over parts of the central and eastern United States. Here would be by October 3rd, and we're looking at the eastern U.S. still in that cold air, and this is going to go throughout the entire model run, which goes out 15 days to October 10th. Now, here would be by October 4th, still that cold air in place, and it's still intensifying over the southeast. Here would be by October 5th, and here would be by October 6th. This would be Tuesday, October 6th, and that cold air, again, is still in place. So you're going to see multiple rounds of cold air that are going to continue throughout parts of the eastern United States. And just playing this through, you can definitely tell that we are going to be in a very cold pattern, especially for the eastern half of the U.S. all the way through October 10th, and there's no sign that this is going to let up. At least for the first half of October, you will be in a brutal cold pattern. So that is going to wrap it up for today's video. Please consider liking the video, subscribing, and turning on notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.